Vona likes to create pencil drawings, getting details down before the painting. She prefers watercolors because she still can see what her original concept was. She likes making pencil sketches of people, but also paints old vehicles, flowers, landscapes, and whatever else strikes her fancy. I love that. Hi, Vona. How you doing?
Doing good.
Awesome. So, describe a typical or not so typical day in your studio.
Well, mainly my typical day would probably be knitting because that's what my business is. I create things and sell them on Etsy. So that's more what I do typically. And a not typical day would be one that I could actually work on my art. So it's been usually, this has been such a wild year because usually in the summertime it's always slow and I can work on my art. Well, back in April I started making masks, and so it hasn't slowed down. It didn't slow down like it usually does. When April last year, I think I sold 6 things. This year it was over 70.
Wow.
So it's gotten kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And so what I make are fun things like this. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little pineapple hat.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to get one other light on over here.
Sure.
It's too dark in here. See if that helps. Yeah, I think that added a little better. So yeah, this is some of my stuff, and then I make fingerless gloves, and this was like candy corn.
Oh, my dad would love that.
Yeah.
My dad would try to eat that.
So that's what my typical day is like, but usually in the summertime I do art because I always enter at the Yolo County Fair, and in West Sacramento where I'm at we have the Gallery 1075, and usually our month is June for the West Sacramento Art Guild to show there. And this year, of course, there was nothing. It was closed. The fair's gone. So that's when I decided to do the open studios because it gave me incentive to work on my art.
Yeah, a little extra push.
Yeah.
It's like I have a friend, and he told me that people always ask him what inspires him. He said, "My inspiration is a deadline."
Yeah, I think that's the easiest. Yeah, I think that's true.
So I can see you're working on something there in the background. Can you tell us about your current body of work? Is that a watercolor?
Yeah, it's the rose. It was my demo for today.
Awesome.
I don't know if I can. I just had this one done, and then I demoed this one during my class today, my studio.
And is that what you're primarily working on right now with your watercolors?
Mainly, I also do a lot of pencil drawings. I am working on another one, which is more just graphite. I just started this one of a friend.
Nice.
And she's got really iron gray hair, and she's a heavy smoker, so she's got lots of wrinkles and things too.
That's
so
wisdom.
She's gonna have a lot of character in it.
Got a lot of wisdom.
She's
got a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
So you were explaining how you knit and you draw and you do watercolors. What did you start off with, and how did you get into what did you start off with, and what was the latest thing you started working on in terms of medium?
Probably, well, I've always liked watercolor. I've been doing it since college, and that's been over 40 years ago. So
that was a little while ago. And what sorry.
And I like to use the watercolor pencils. These are like the Derwent watercolor pencils. And I like to work with them and with the water, and I can do smaller details and get.
I'm like really fascinated with watercolors. When I was just talking to our last interviewing, I was saying how watercolor is not something that I've ever pursued, not because I'm not interested in it. It's just, there's so many things that I've done, and I didn't even know about those pencils. How do they work?
They work pretty good. You just put them on the page, and then you add the water to it, and you just kind of blend it, and it just fades in.
Is there like a certain control to it that you found that's kind of eases it a little bit?
There is, and if I want to get a lot of real detail, I'll take my brush and I'll dip it in my water, and I'll just barely highlight the point of it and just get a little bit on, and then I can just add that little bit for my details. That's what I've done on the rose on the edges of the petals and things.
And is that something that you kind of just learned on your own, or was that something that was taught to you?
It was probably something I learned on my own, because most of when I was in college, watercolor was, you make big washes and you just lay on all the color and you don't go back and do fine detail. But I took a lot of classes, more commercial art, I guess it was classes, but it was in the journalism department. It was in the art department. And that was back when you didn't use computer drawings to do overlays and everything. You did each layer separately and then did another layer over the top, like for, say, if you were doing a bottle of perfume or something, and you do one layer for the bottle, another layer for, say, if there was black writing on it, and then another layer for the logo or something, and you do all of that by hand.
And so you've showed me like your knitting, and they seem really fun. I mean, the candy corn is awesome, and the pineapple. And in the background you have a flower. So what inspires you? What influences your work?
Probably just everything around me, or just stuff. I had a friend that came up and said, "Oh, I have a person who's going to have a baby and she likes ducks." So she says, "I need a duck hat." And so I made this little hat. It still needs eyes. And then I decided, I'll make another one, and I posted it on Etsy. And this is about the 27th or 28th one I've made now.
Oh, wow.
And they've got little feet on them with little web feet.
So it's almost like artwork by request and whatever tickles your fancy.
Right. And somebody will say, "Oh, yeah, well, you can't make a pizza hat." Well,
oh, yeah?
You take a slice of pizza and it's pointy, and you just add funny stuff all over it. And I sent one to a guy. He bought one, and he writes back and says, "Well, it's kind of cheesy."
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
So what's you do knitting, you do sketches, it seems like you do everything. What's your favorite art material, if you have one?
Probably the watercolor and the watercolor pencils, although I like to do a lot of graphite drawing, and I have watercolor pencils in those too, which they're also by Derwent. They're sketching wash pencils, and they come in different, like regular pencils come in all different sizes, different hues, and so there's like an 8B, which is super soft. There's an HB, I have a 4B. So they're fun to do, and you can get a lot of detail.
Do those pencils work similar to just regular pencils? Like, are there H pencils as well?
Yeah, and but you also can wet them, and they will blend and make smooth.
Wow, that's
areas,
so.
because I use my paper stump a lot when I do pencil drawings to soften and blend lines.
Yeah.
And if I want to do a large area of dark, though, I use the wash.
And these like these pencils that are kind of like watercolors, is this something you kind of learned on your own as well? I mean, is this something you just found and you're like, let me try it out, and then you just kind of taught yourself?
Yeah. I don't know if I remember. My sister was an artist too, and I don't know if she found these for me or if I found them myself. I think I'm missing one because I thought I had 4. Oh well, it's probably over here. Anyway, so yeah, it's lots of fun because you can get a lot more detail. I've got a couple pictures in the other room, but would you like to see?
Sure, why not? We have a couple more minutes left.
Okay. And I'll show you what. Like on this one, I did her hair with the wash and his coat, and I used it kind of because it was kind of a heavy textured coat.
Can you lift it up a little bit more?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. Oh, wow. There's so much depth in that.
Yeah, and with the dark and the light, it gives it more depth, so it gives it more,
A lot of push and pull in there.
On this one because of his dark shirt, and then blended with the paper stump on the denim, his little denim.
That's so detailed. All the creases in the overalls.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, are these materials something that you actively pursue, or it's just something that you kind of stumble upon? You're like, oh, I would like to try that.
Yeah, it's kind of like you stumble upon it and you think, oh, I've got to try that. Or you see somebody else doing it, you watch a video or something and you go, oh, I need that.
You're my kind of artist.
Yeah.
So,
and then of course I have more stuff and it's like, now what do I do with all this stuff? You just keep accumulating new things.
Thanks, Vona, for taking the time to talk to us. I'm sure a lot of people are happy to hear about your artwork. Where can we find out more about your artwork and where somebody might be able to purchase it? Because obviously you're selling a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah, I'm selling more stuff with the knitting, but I need to actually create. I have a Pinterest page, and I have it listed on my bio where they can come and see some of my work.
Great.
And also on Facebook.
And they just look up your name, click on it, and then they can just start to go through all the stuff you fancy.
And I do have, I believe, my email there if they can find me on that. And I probably will start with some art on my Etsy page.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to us today, Vona. This is really
welcome.
cool. Awesome talking to you.